you ever felt like you're just stuck, trapped in the daily grind? Working day in and day out, but not really moving forward? Well, today we're talking about someone who felt that way and did something pretty incredible. Her name is Mrs. Marvelous Gongu. And after 40 years in the UK, she decided to pack it all up and move back to Zimbabwe. She traded her entire life for a chance at something real. And this quote right here, this is the whole story in one sentence. Paid slavery. I mean, just let that sink in. That's how she saw her life in Europe. It wasn't that she didn't have a job, it's that the money she earned just fed the machine. It paid the bills, it kept the lights on, but it never ever let her get ahead or truly build any real freedom. And when you look at it like this, it all makes sense. On one hand, life in the UK was what she called the rat race, a never-ending cycle of work, credit card debt, and no real social life. She felt like she was working harder and harder, only to get poorer. But Zimbabwe, that was the opposite. That meant a life without all that stress, seeing family and friends, and, this is the key, the chance to build real homegrown success. So yeah, she made her choice. 40 years of routine was enough. It was time to quit the rat race and go back home, back to her roots. But a move like this, well, it takes more than just a decision. It takes total commitment. And when I say total commitment, I mean it. She went all in. No half measures here. She sold her car, her furniture, everything. She literally liquidated her life in the UK. She even took out a loan against her house to get the money she needed to buy land back in Zimbabwe. This was a burn the boats kind of move. No turning back. Okay, so she has the land, she has the drive, but she needed an idea, a business. And the one she landed on, bananas, wasn't just some random guess. It was a really smart, calculated move that would become the seed of her entire new life.
Why are you going big when you are poor? Why are you driving that Mercedes on a rented house? You're renting, remember?
Yes.
In a posh area. How much a month? 2,000 a month. Really? That's a hectare of bananas.
How did you get into banana farming?
After a women's conference, and then I went to a master class, seeing different women talk about their business, bananas stood out for me.
So our mission today for you is to really unpack what drove her, why bananas specifically. They're more versatile than you might think, and, you know, the nuts and bolts of how she runs things. Plus her pretty radical challenge to what we normally think of as success. Hopefully you'll have a few aha moments about where real opportunity could be hiding. Okay, so let's unpack this journey. Mrs. Marvel Gongu, 40 years living and working in the UK. That's a long time.
It really is. And what's striking is how she talked about it. She called it paid slavery. Very blunt.
Paid slavery. Wow.
Yeah. She felt the money it just covered the bills. Always borrowing. Yeah. Credit cards. She described it as a constant rat race. Working all the time, but actually getting poorer. It's a feeling I think a lot of people can probably recognize.
Definitely paints a picture. And it sounds like it wasn't just about the money, right? What was the tipping point for her deciding to go back to Africa?
She said she just craved a life with no stress. You know, to actually enjoy time with friends, with family. The big moment seemed to be when her son turned 30. It was like this wake-up call. She realized she needed a totally different path. And it does make you stop and think, what does stress-free really look like for you? And are we sometimes sacrificing too much in that rat race?
That's a really good question for all of us. And she wasn't just thinking about it, she acted decisively.
Sold her car, shipped everything, all her belongings back to Zimbabwe. And then, the big one, she actually borrowed against her house money. Yeah, use that to buy the land and get this whole thing started. It wasn't like she was waiting for someone to give her permission. It was a huge leap.
Okay, but why bananas? That seems specific. How did she land on bananas out of everything?
Right, it wasn't random. She mentioned attending a women's conference and then this master class held in Brazil, the US, the UK.
Okay.
And out of all the business ideas floating around, the banana just stood out.
Well,
the big appeal for her, she called it zero risks.
Zero risk with farming.
Well, yeah, for her, starting out with basically no savings, that was crucial. She said she didn't need insurance. The banana plant itself is just incredibly resilient. That changes the whole game if you're starting a business without borrowing loads of money, which she thought makes things very difficult.
Zero risk. That's a powerful idea for anyone starting out. And the resilience you mentioned, she gave some pretty wild examples, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, it thrives even if there are floods. And get this, if there's frost, like snow or freezing temperatures, the plant draws back inside its trunk. She compared it to a tortoise pulling into its shell.
No way.
Yes. And then maybe 2 weeks later, when the sun's back out, it just pushes the fruit back out again. It's kind of amazing, that level of adaptability.
That is incredible. A plant that literally retreats and regroups. So frost, floods. What else makes it so adaptable?
Well, it's not fussy about fertilizer either. Any manure works. Pig, goat, cattle, it's all good. And she also said any climate is suitable. Now, obviously within reason, but it suggests it can grow in a lot of different places where maybe other crops would struggle.
And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Now she's got this huge operation, over 100 acres, 89,000 plants.
Yep, 89,000 plants. It really shows her vision wasn't just a dream. She made it viable, starting from, well, almost nothing. Scaling up like that must have had its own unique hurdles too.
For sure. Okay, let's get into the how, the practical side. How do you actually grow these things so successfully, especially somewhere like Zimbabwe's Midlands province, which can get pretty dry? There must be like a method to it.
Oh, definitely. She says the secret is in the ground. It's all about preparation. She's very specific about the hole size, 60 by 60 by 60 centimeters. For roots, aeration.
Okay.
Then it's about layers. First, mulching. That's key. She says the secret for the heat keeps moisture in. Then dry leaves. Then pig manure, she prefers that. Says it's strong and well matured.
Got it.
Then a specific amount, 120 grams of compound fertilizer, D, C, J, or S, she mentioned, followed by top fertilizer type A about 10 days later.
Right.
And here's a critical bit. 60 liters of water go in before you even put the plant in the ground. So yeah, it's a very precise process.
That's way more involved than just digging a hole and hoping for the best. Real science behind it. Okay, so the payoff, how does this turn into actual money?
Right, the fruit. She calls the individual bananas fingers, and the whole bunch is a station.
Fingers and stations, okay.
Now, a flower, if you just let it go, could apparently produce up to 1,000 fingers. But that's not the strategy. No. Her method is to cut the flower back when the stalk has maybe 350 to 400 fingers. The idea is that the plant then puts all its energy into making those remaining bananas grow huge.
Quality over quantity, makes sense.
Exactly. And a stalk with 350 of those huge fingers can weigh 70 kilos. Sometimes they even need props to hold them up.
70 kilograms, wow.
Yeah, and even the flower she cuts off, that gets sold too. For about $20, apparently. For stir fries, she mentioned, like in Chinese cooking.
Nothing wasted. Even the bit you cut off makes money.
Yeah.
That's efficiency and that yield. It's not just a few bananas here and there. This is where it connects back to that idea of real wealth creation, right?
Totally. She breaks down the numbers. 1 hectare, maybe 3,000 plants. If each plant gives you $35 worth of fruit that's based on selling 350 bananas at, say, 10, for $1, you're looking at $105,000.
Hectare.
Per hectare. In just 9 months, because it's about 120 days from when it flowers to when you harvest, it really underlines the economic potential here. It's pretty staggering.
It really is. So, okay, fresh fruit is obviously big, but you mentioned versatility. She claims, what was it, 101 products from one plantation?
101, yeah, that's what she says. And this is where the banana really shows its magic.
So, beyond just eating them fresh, what are we talking about?
Well, the obvious food things like banana meal, sort of like ugali or pap, banana flour for baking, but then milkshakes made from a ground banana powder. It's gluten-free, good for allergies if you mix it with different milks. Banana ice cream, banana yogurts.
Okay, standard enough, but 101, there must be more.
Oh yeah. She talks about health benefits too. You know the little brown or black dots you sometimes see inside a ripe banana?
Yeah, I always thought that was just going bad.
Apparently not. She says that contains good bacteria. Really beneficial for your small intestine, for ulcers, digestion, like a natural bowel cleanser. She says you can just scrape it out and eat it or blend it.
Huh. Okay, learn something new every day. What else? The plant itself must have uses beyond the fruit.
Tons. There's banana water, extracted from the stalk after you harvest the fruit. Sells for $20 a liter, apparently. And one stalk can give you 20 liters.
$20 a liter for banana water. Wow.
Then the leftover stock itself gets ground up into stock feed for animals, chickens, goats, cattle. And it's high protein, like 46% crude protein. Great for fattening them up.
That's huge for farmers raising livestock. It just keeps going, doesn't it?
It really does. fiber. From a certain type of banana, she didn't say which, but they use the fiber to make things like, believe it or not, Brazilian hair extensions.
Get out. Really?
Yep. Also paper, especially for kids' books. And those expensive woven things, mats, hats, handbags, all from banana fiber.
That's incredible. What else? We need to get closer to 101.
Okay. The sap, natural glue for shoes. The leaves, get made into a coffee mixture. The roots, keep them in a drum for 2 weeks so you get a natural dewormer and fertilizer. Banana peels, same deal, put them in a jar for 14 days. They turn into this creamy, white, liquid, excellent organic fertilizer.
It's genuinely like a one-stop shop, the entire plant. Amazing. But her story, it feels like it's about more than just farming techniques. It's a whole philosophy, isn't it? She's really challenging that American dream or Europe dream idea.
She is, quite forcefully. She sees the stress, the high taxes, the lack of social connection, the credit card debt cycle in places like Europe. She sees it as just another form of that paid slavery she talked about. And she makes this stark comparison. A $1,200 flight ticket versus buying 1,200 banana plants with that same money. She argues those plants will make you way more money in 9 months than working abroad. Her conviction is that Africa is the gold mine if you know where to look and how to work it.
That's a powerful counter-narrative. So for someone listening, maybe feeling inspired but unsure where to start, what's her practical advice?
It's very down to earth. She says, look at what you own. Sell the non-essentials, the designer stuff, fancy watches, maybe even the car if you're renting anyway.
Okay.
Then cut your biggest expenses, rent, maybe expensive school fees, just for 3 months. Take that money, go to your village, buy some land, buy some banana plants.
So radical, temporary sacrifice for long-term investment.
Exactly. And mindset is key. Don't start big, she insists. Understand the stages. You start employed, then maybe self-employed, and then you become a businessman, managing things yourself. But the goal is to become an entrepreneur.
And what's the difference for her?
An entrepreneur employs others, delegates, like she does now with her managers. It's about building something bigger than yourself, creating opportunities for others too.
That makes sense. It's building a system, not just a job. And her vision isn't just limited to her own farm, is it?
No, not at all. She's actually building a banana school. Wants to train other Africans in this kind of agriculture.
Yeah.
She's planning centers in Zimbabwe, Kenya, Botswana, maybe more. And demand is so high, she's already subcontracting other farmers who have like 10 acres or more. She also wants to keep bananas out of the regular veggie markets, position it as a higher value product.
Elevating the whole crop. It really does come full circle, doesn't it? She even links her own well-being back to the farm.
She does. Says she looks young and feels energetic at 52 because she's stress-free and eats gluten-free every day, straight from her farm. It's like the ultimate proof of her philosophy working.
So looking back at everything, we've followed Mrs. Ganji's incredible path, seen just how resilient and frankly amazing the banana is, dug into the details of making it work as a business, and heard this really powerful message about finding independence and success on your own terms.
Yeah, her story really is something. It's about vision, sure, but also sheer grit, resilience, and believing that wealth, real wealth, might just be waiting in your own backyard. You just have to look differently maybe and innovate.
So it leaves us with a question for you to think about. What banana, what overlooked resource, what hidden potential might be right there in your backyard that maybe you haven't seen clearly yet? What could you transform into, well, maybe not 101 products, but a source of opportunity, maybe less stress, and perhaps your own version of a golden future?
They'll tell you that it's 40 by 40, but it's not. It's 60 going this way, 60 going that way. It's 60 by 60 centimeters. And depth going down is 60 centimeters. So what do is, first we put mulching. Can I have mulching, please? Mulching, that's the mulching. That's where the secret is for the heat. So we mulch it first. And then we add leaves. Those are the leaves. But then if it's hot, this hole needs 60 liters of water.
60 liters.
60 before you plant. And then you put, that is what you put inside.
The leaves.
The leaves.
Dry leaves.
Dry leaves. Then manure. But here we use pig manure because we find it strong and we find it's already matured. As you can see, it's black. And cattle manure takes longer. Then after doing this, we add that inside. Then we put fertilizer. But fertilizer has to be 120 grams of D or C or J or S compound J, compound C, compound D. That's what we start with. Then 10 days later, you apply AN, which is your top fertilizer, and that's it, you're good to go.